All right. Hello and welcome to Manga Arcade Live. My name is SHINTONE. And this is Manga Arcade Live. No sound effects. It ain't working for some reason. Yeah. Show dedicated to a variety of topics on the Manga Arcade channel. But as you can see, depending on where you're seeing, this is on multitudes of channels for the moment. Well, let me turn this down. Manga Arcade Live is an exclusive Manga Arcade series only on that channel. However, for the first 20 episodes, I'm going to be running this show simultaneously with the SHINTONE channel, as you can see on YouTube. Now, I am live on Twitch, Rumble, the Manga Arcade YouTube and the SHINTONE YouTube channel as well. Let's just get into it, right? The main topic. Does canon in Dragon Ball Daima even matter anymore? Well, let's get into it. It's going to be a very tight presentation here today. Discussion. You could think of it as a live video. So, we got to go ahead and get into this damn topic. Now, on Manga Arcade, there's a few rules that need to be followed. Generally, across all my channels, I like to maintain a professional demeanor. So on Manga Arcade, we do not cuss. We're not very vulgar on this show, as much as I am on other shows, as you may see me. So do expect this show to be more professionally hacked, a little bit more clean. So if I want to do some, if I want to talk some trash, it's going to be in a very creative manner. And if I so happen to just curse out of nowhere, I owe somebody $500. That's what I would do, the sound effect, but it's not working right now. So I want to get owed $500. Every curse word is $500, except for damn. I keep damn. Let me tell you guys what Manga Arcade is all about. Shall we? Before we get into this topic, let's go ahead and open up the core purpose of Manga Arcade. Now, you gotta understand something here. I'm an American talking about Japanese comics, right? And also understand that I'm an enthusiast of manga, hoping to become the expert. I know way more. I could even call myself an expert, really, with all I know, when it comes down to the manga side of comic books. However, I'm remaining humble. I'm going to start off by saying this is volume 1 of Manga Arcade. Each stream within volume 1 and the content within volume 1 should last about an entire year. So the series, the content, all of that pretty much is leading up to me becoming the expert in volume 2 that I wish to be. So that's kind of the whole setup. My original plan with Manga Arcade was years ago, when I first started this channel in 2020. I was supposed to already been started with this, but here we are now. The year plan was 6 years, 5 to 6 years of Manga Arcade. Once that's done, we wrap it up. The channel's over. Well, the good news is we're just getting started in 2025. So I look forward to talking about manga, the controversies, and all that, which in fact, let's just get into the purpose, the core purpose of why I started this channel. Let's go ahead and read it. Number 1, to provide a continuous database for veterans and newcomers alike. Number 2, to bring forth recognition and awareness for the creators involved. Now, for today, because it's a very compact topic, we will refrain from naming too many directors, key animators, and what have you. And we're going to focus on Toriyama's contributions a little bit, just to keep it simple, so you guys can get used to the pacing of this series as we move forward. Just a warning ahead of time. We will drop some names here and there. Number 3, to acknowledge stereotypes and tropes and deconstruct them responsibly. This is important. I do understand what I'm talking about here. Manga. And there's different genres of manga to talk about, which we'll also get to another stream. We're going to be highlighting the best of the best. But when we do the worst, and the middle ground, we're going to acknowledge what it is. We like manga and anime for what it is. So, we are going to Love it for what it is, while acknowledging that some things are not always culturally acceptable, while some things are. We're going to do it in a way that respects the culture while understanding context, which brings me to the next point. To change the culture of discussion and to destigmatize the conversations around manga and anime. Oh boy. Every time you want to talk about your favorite manga, your anime you watch is stigmatized. Manga Arcade hopes to do, that these conversations can be had without these stigmas attached, while acknowledging the stereotypes and what have you. That's the goal of Manga Arcade. I'm pretty professional right now, but I talk a lot of ish, and ish is not a bad word. Alright, and 5. This is a big one because we got a lot to talk about when it comes to controversy. To give context to controversial manga and anime related topics and events. I know at the top of your head you're thinking about the most controversial thing. Rurouni Kenshin. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't say that. I didn't say nothing. I was just coughing. Rurouni Kenshin, probably one that needs to be. That's a big one. We're not going to touch that yet. But that's just an example of the type of topics we'll be talking about on Manga Arcade. Alright? That being said, I think we can move over to this topic. We won't be here for very long. These Manga Arcade lives, these are going to be every week. That's the plan, but it's going to be short. Like I said, think of it as a live video. Alright? So let's move forward to the topic. Dragon Ball Daima. I had some words with Dragon Ball Daima. Some very important words. Let's move on to core characters. Last time I talked about it, I think I talked about the truth of Dragon Ball Daima. And I said that the pacing was questionable, but overall I was enjoying the adventure aspect. At that point, the last episode, that was at episode 16. Now, we're at episode... It's done. we're 20 and done, and now I got the full series in retrospect. I'll be honest with you. Now that I've actually rewatched it again from episode 1 to 20, I think it's actually well paced. For what it is, I really do. This is like my short intro review. We'll get into the canonicity of things. I think it was good for what it was, but here's the problem. I think the ultimate issue is this. It wasn't good for a weekly showing. I think the best way to experience Dragon Ball Daima is to binge watch it, and I'm not playing. Binge watch it. You were better off binge watching. All those people waiting to binge watch it, you were better off binge watching this. Now, of course, the people like me who watch it on a weekly basis got to experience something that only a few people keeping up with it would, which is the hype, which is the what's going to happen next type of mindset going into every episode. I'm going to tell you what, I definitely have two different minds. Like I said before, it's definitely, like, when you see it all together, it's definitely well done. Well done. I hope I get to talk about some of those topics here with you today. I think I got some few examples lined up here. First things first, let's cover off the core characters involved in the story. Son Goku, Vegeta, Bulma, Supreme Kai, Shin, and which we learn is not here. Not here, he's not here. I got some jokes, some corny, I'm not trying to curse, some corny joke. Oh, listen, if I curse, I owe somebody $500. I'm just saying. Not here. Trying my best not to talk crap right now. It's so hard. Piccolo, Goma, that bastard Goma, the Getsu, that literal who, I don't know why he wasn't even doing anything in there. Arinsu, Majin Ku, Majin Du, Glorio, Pansy, King Kaiden, Hybris, Neva. Another one. Not here. Never. I can't do with these puns. Marba. And the Dagami. I put all three of them in the picture because they serve the same plot device. You know what I'm saying? You need to get to the next Dagami, get the Dragon Ball type of thing. And of course, Dende. These are the most important characters in Daima. And I gotta say, I got some opinions. And if you're in the audience, I will be asking you guys some questions. So, there will be some questionables. There's going to be some question setups for y'all. Let me pay attention to the chats as much as I can. Let me see what I'm... Alright, let's get the airtime going. So I'm going to let these slideshow play while I wrap up my thoughts on here as we get into the canon aspect of this. Where is it, bro? I curse. I owe somebody $500. I swear, it's so hard. It's so hard. It's so hard. Alright, that it? Nah, I don't think that's it. There we go. There we go. Super Saiyan 4. Man, oh man. Oh man. Overall, if I had to list my top 10 favorite moments, first of all, I hate top 10. I hate top 10s. Don't actually do top 5s. Top 10s. I hate them. So this is going to be out of order. I love the Super Saiyan 4 transformation for both the small Goku and the big one. That's one, right? I'm not going to keep counting. I'm just going to name 5 more. I hate this. I hate this. Hate it. Let's see what else. Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. That's a highlight. Of course, with his hair going up. That's pretty cool. Honestly, I think most of the highlights. I do like the episode with the giants, the Gilgarfs. Not Gilgarfs. That's a Yu-Gi-Oh character. You know, no, not the Gilgarfs. The Mega Garfs. The Megas. Trying to make you curse on this stream by accident. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the one. I know people hate the hamster episode. I actually enjoy that. Then and in retrospect, I actually enjoy that episode. What's another favorite moment? Oh yeah, Gohan not being in here. I'm just joking. I love Gohan. I do. He's my favorite one. But hey, that's another one. Let's see. I'm trying to think right now. I love every scene with Majin Buu. I got a little annoyed. One of my biggest critiques I had in the last live stream and of the show, which I changed a little bit, was the red herrings. I felt like certain characters were going to go a certain way and they ended up not doing that. I thought Majin Buu was going to eventually develop to be hateful towards, what's her name, Rinsu? But no, I just misunderstood the assignment apparently. But in retrospect, when I reviewed the episode 1 to 20, I started to see things that I don't think the Dragon Ball Content Coalition. See, I forgot to talk my ish. I put it on here to talk crap about it. Where is it? Because you know they watching. Oh yeah, they watching. Dragon Ball Content Coalition probably didn't even notice. So I didn't want to get into that right now. We're going to talk about the canon exclusively. So where do we begin? Right? With the canon. These are the core characters. I'm going to be switching back and forth with this slide. Oh my goodness, is that lined up correctly? I better hope so. I'm doing it live. Let's go. Let's see. That's good. Let's start off with the definition of canon. You hear me, Dragon Ball fans? You ready? Just remember, the audience, I'm going to ask you guys a question. I want to get some feedback. Whoever's available. Alright, let me see. Let's start off. Let's get right into it. No more deliberating. Show's supposed to be short. Let's see what the definition of canon is, alright? Right here. I hope you all can see it. Give it a chance to pop up. What is canon? Let's look at the first definition. So you get a good understanding. So we're all on the same page right here, okay? A general law, rule, principle, or criterion by which something is judged. Number 2. A collection of or list of sacred books accepted as genuine. I think both can somehow fit into the definition of canon in which we speak. But I think number 1 and 2 both represent what I mean by canon. What say you? Another definition we gotta make sure we get correct today. What is a retcon? Let's read. First one. In a film, television series, or fictional work, a piece of new information that imposes a different interpretation or on no glasses, as you can see, I'm squinting. Previously described events typically used to facilitate a dramatic plot, shift, or account for an inconsistency. That's what a retcon is. The verb revise, an aspect of a fictional work, retrospectively, typically introducing a new piece of information that imposes a different interpretation. That's just the verb version. You get the picture. We know what a retcon is now. Wish I had my sound effects. Wish I did. It's not working. There's another one we need to know before we continue. What is an interquel? What is an interquel? Well, let's read it, right? An interquel is a work which is both a sequel and a prequel, essentially bridging the gap between two or more previously published works. Are you following with me, Dragon Ball fans? Are we following with me? Okay, I'm glad you all agree. Very important words. And just to make sure we understand the extra mile, okay? What is a plot device? A plot device is a technique used to move a story forward, develop tension, introduce new elements. Plot devices can be characters, objects, situations, or changes in the story work. And these are perfectly good examples, very relevant for us today. Flashbacks. There's tons of that in Daima. Ticking clock. That's actually a treat we're gonna touch upon. Red herrings. Whole bunch of that. Fusion bug, right? We love that. We all hated that. Quests, which is pretty much the entirety of Daima. But there's a few characters that represent it, like Dende, for example. Gotta rescue Dende. A difficult journey toward a goal, often symbolic or allegorical. Well, it's just a journey. It's not like Deus Ex Machina. An unlikely occurrence that suddenly resolves an unsolvable problem. Deus Ex. I don't think that really happened in this story. No. But we got some important definitions, right, Dragon Ball fans? Content Coalition, you following with me? We know what those words mean now. So let's get in to what is canon, right? So what is Dragon Ball canon? I'm going to start off with the levels. So there's levels to this. The general audience has different perceptions of what canon is, from even the diehard Dragon Ball fan. So we're going to start off with the general notion of what is canon. Right there. Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, which is the interquel in Dragon Ball Z, and then End of Z. This is across the board every Dragon Ball fan, at least the most basic general ones that kept up with Super and knows a little bit about Dragon Ball. This is their general perception of what is canon. Now, audience, do I agree with this personally? We'll get to that. Definitely not. What is wrong here? What is wrong with this? What is wrong with this picture? Please tell me. I'm waiting. If anybody would like to speak. If not, we can just continue with the show. It's fine. I'm trying to check. What is wrong with this picture? Start listening. I know. If you're a huge Dragon Ball fan, there's a whole lot wrong with this. Oh yeah, I know. I'm trying to check the just let me know. I'll give it a few more seconds. Give it a few more seconds. See if anybody wants to do this. Once again, we are live on Twitch, the SHINTONE YouTube, Manga Arcade YouTube, Rumble. Alright. I'll get to this thing right here. Now let him do it. Nothing. I'm gonna look at the YouTube one yet again to see if anybody would like to say anything so far. I read a comment that says, I don't care about canon, the retcons, and plot holes. Retcons and plot holes. Well, you should. And that's actually the main point of today. You should care. Because I'm about to expose Dragon Ball fans for being the... I'm about to expose this. And why canon is important. This is why I pulled it up. So what's wrong with this? Well, there's a problem. Here's the first initial thing. One, Super has some inconsistencies that contradict Dragon Ball. It is known as integral. So the general people acknowledge this as canon across the board. Hold on. Why is it not working? There we go. Sorry you see my neck so damn much. Not supposed to happen like that. I'm trying to figure out if everything's going exactly the way it needs to. Can't even see that? You serious? Let me move that over. There we go. That should be a lot better for the camera. Generally speaking, everybody acknowledges this. This is wrong. This is not canon. This is not how this is. So like I said, we'll be going in levels. We're going to go to the next level up. People that's been in the know a little bit, maybe have some biases in the mix to what's generally perceived as canon. So we go for the general audience to the advanced canon. Now there's a group of people who thinks this is canon. Right there. Dragon Ball Z, Battle of Gods. He says, I'm talking about, a member says, I'm talking about Japan. Doesn't care about canon that much in their anime. Oh, well, trust me, everything you thinking, I'm thinking. We're getting there. Battle of Gods of Katsuno F. I like always calling it that. Resurrection F. Then Dragon Ball Super. Then End of Z. And then Dragon Ball GT. And even though this is advanced, I call this the advanced tier of canon perspective, many people, for some reason, do not consider A Hero's Legacy. A Hero's Legacy in the Dragon Ball world is the farthest we've ever seen into the future of the world from the point we start in the story. which is the farthest we ever seen. The farthest we ever go, to this day, is still Dragon Ball GT: A Hero's Legacy. So this right here, the last one was the general canon understanding. This here is the more advanced. If you're a more advanced fan of Dragon Ball, this is your understanding. I'm here to tell you today. Actually, before I do that, if anybody would like to answer, what's wrong with this picture? What's wrong with this? Some may say that this is more problematic than this. Remember, this is the general one. This is the first one. And trust me, it gets more complicated than this. This is the advance. Here's one of the problems I'll point out. GT, right? Why would the people hate GT? Because GT's inconsistencies with Dragon Ball Z. And GT came first. Now, I like GT personally, but we cannot deny that it has story inconsistencies that are problematic. But it did come after End of Z, right? Here's another problem. Dragon Ball Super and Dragon Ball GT's inconsistencies. Now, I know this may seem to some of you a little infantile. Well, that means we haven't went to your level yet, and trust me, we'll get there. But there's some Dragon Ball fans that are literally at this level of a canon understanding. So I have to go through the paces right here. So don't feel like it's insulting to you if you get it. I have to, it's that kind of the overall point here, right? Some of you need to know this. Some of you may not. Like I said, we're going to get to your level, our level in a second. Both Super and GT cannot exist in the same time. What makes this even worse, right, is that Super in itself, and like I said, people literally think Dragon Ball Z, Battle of Gods, these are the movies, Tatsuno F, then Super, okay, then End of Z, and then maybe some people also think GT did. This can't even exist. That's the problem. The second problem I was supposed to mention before we move on was the fact that Super, in itself, redoes Battle of Gods with Tatsuno F arcs. But, as I'm putting this out there, some people think this is canon in their brain. Now, we've just did general canon. This is the basic people thing. This is based off my own observation too. This is based off my own data. Alright? I've been around the space for a long time. And I've been around regular Dragon Ball fans that's watched it a long time ago, going to Toonami days, and then jump back into Super, and this is what they generally think. I've been around more advanced people than that who just accept this as their canon. Now, we get to the you and me level. See, if you're a real Dragon Ball fan, you know that this list right here, that I just put away, this is also incorrect for the reasons we just said and more. Here's the expert level of canon that Dragon Ball content creators and hardcore fans generally accept. Check this out. This is the expert. Oh man. Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z. Now take a look at what goes on here. Because of what I said before, the movie versions of Battle of the Gods and Resurrection F, they're Z, right? They're in the Z timeline, and then they go to End of Z. But because Super redoes those stories, it becomes a Super version of that story. And that interquel. Then, and I'm surprised, like I said, I gave the audience to understand what was wrong with the other ones. I was hoping maybe somebody would say it. But if you notice, everything I do is pretty much on purpose. I used a manga image for both of these. I was hoping someone would notice that. I used a manga image for both of those. That's supposed to signify something. I was hoping somebody would say, why are you using the manga image? Well, now I'll explain here. The manga of Super does things different from the anime of Super, to the point where it becomes its own canon. So what are we doing here, Dragon Ball? Content Coalition. What is Dragon Ball canon? Not only that, take a look at the Super. Going into Broly Super. Going into Superhero. But the manga goes past the movie, so it bounces back and goes into End of Z. And then for some weird, some people may believe this, most people don't if you're the expert. At that point, it's supposed to lead to GT. So I ask again to the audience, what is Dragon Ball? This is the general belief across the board. I think, for one, as a Dragon Ball fan, who's kept up with this is all bull. The expert one, bull. Yeah, the advanced one, bull. In general, bull. All of this, none of this is canon. And I'm dead serious about that. Absolutely none of it. None of it is canon, so to say. So what is the real canon, you're asking? And I know. You're also asking, where does Daima fit into this? Before we get there, we're going on to our next point. Before I reveal that. And that point is what makes the other things don't exist, right? The Super, we're speaking gibberish. What makes the other things not canon, right? It's the inconsistencies between Super, like I said. I'm going to be explaining the key inconsistencies that needs to be taken note of. Now, if you're a Dragon Ball expert, you should already know of some of these. Right? For example, let's see here. This is a presentation. Like I said, these Manga Arcade Lives will be like very fast-paced presentation type of ordeals. In the manga, the Dragon Ball Super manga, remember we established that it's generally believed that there's a different canon between the manga of Super and anime, right? And this is a primary example of a really bad inconsistency. When Shin and Kambito separated, in the manga, it's said that they used the Dragon Balls to separate. Right? But in the anime, hold on. It said the same. It said the same thing in the anime. I'm messing up my points. We're doing it live. Like I said, think of it as a live video. Let's see here. Yeah, in Dragon Ball Daima, it was revealed that they used Boo, reformed Boo, to defuse themselves. That's a direct contradiction of epic proportions. So once again, I'm going to ask a question to Dragon Ball Super fans that think Daima is somewhat relevant to Super. What is Dragon Ball canon? You see this? Like, you can't make this work. This literally cannot exist. And it's just the little details like this. And more. I got more examples. a very key example. It may be a character thing, though. But this is the primary one. This is the one that woke everybody up, I think, in my opinion. Like, this is bull. It can't happen. It can't happen in the same universe. It just can't. If you're telling me that at one point he separated himself with the Dragon Balls, but then he also explains, well, we use Boo. Either not here is a liar, or they're not the same person. I doubt none of those are true. There's another point I want to make here before we continue on. I try not to be here too long today. It's supposed to be a short presentation. Many people use this as an example of that too. They show this scene where Supreme Kai is talking about the universe and how the powerful old Supreme Demon King granted the Ryumas to create the universe, and pointed to Supreme Kais and showed characters from that was used in Super to kind of explain this point even further. But here's the thing. In Daima, they could always use plot points from Super on the characters, right? And it takes some of the power, not power structure. What's it called? The universal structure. They could just reuse that for their own canon. So this isn't exactly evidence that Daima is canon to Super. But like I said before, even the stuff as little as this is a big deal. This is a huge inconsistency. Especially when we go back to the manga page, where later, when I think that's him fighting against Goku Black or something in the manga, where he says he didn't even know Boo could even defuse him. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Once again, Dragon Ball Content Coalition and the fan. What is Dragon Ball canon? What is it? All right. And I wanted to make a point about the whole Super Saiyan 4 thing, about how Goku wanted to do a Super Saiyan 3 thing, and it's like, that's my biggest form. I don't think that point really holds, so I'm going to skip over that. But there is one more last inconsistency, and there's tons more. Like Trunks' hair. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I forgot that. That's a really huge one right there too. Trunks' hair. How do you go from purple to blue? Now he's back to purple, okay. But in the Dragon Ball superhero movie, when he was small, he was purple. All of a sudden, when he grows up, it's blue again. What the hell's going on? Makes no sense to me. Here's another point. Here we have on the left, and this is my biggest point. This is my biggest gripe. Is that absolute crapshoot? I'm trying not to curse so bad, you have to understand. Dragon Ball minus. Now, I understand that Akira Toriyama worked on it, right? And another general conception alongside canon is whatever Akira Toriyama says, whatever he wants. If he wants that to be canon, it's canon because it's his own. I'm here to tell you that's a bunch of bull too. We have to hold Akira Toriyama accountable for what he did in the past. On the left is an official panel from the Frieza saga of Bardock, resembling who he was in that movie. And guess what? The special, the father of Goku, that appeared in 1990. 1990. That chapter right there was in 1991. That was Akira Toriyama acknowledging this Bardock's existence in the literal page of the manga. That's to supersede everything in the actual page. So in Dragon Ball minus and stories like of that sort, at the very least, he should look the same, and he does not. That's a huge inconsistency. And now we got another problem. Dragon Ball minus Bardock was used, of course you all should know this, in Dragon Ball Broly, the Broly movie. Which, of course, I think that dude should have never been even named Broly. Because he's not Broly. It's a completely new character. Now, I like the movie. I do. I think it's one of the... it looks good, you know, whatever. But the whole using this Dragon Ball minus is a complete, once again, contradiction to what was already done. And another thing, too. I don't have it here, but Raditz even said it when he, I think it was a dialogue. See, these things, people say they don't care about canon, right? People say they don't care about canon. These things matter. These things matter. We have to hold this into accountability. This was officially in the manga, whether or not someone said somebody forgot, whether or not they forgot or not. This is a problem. Canon matters. But most importantly, the source material matters. We're about to wrap this up soon. It's supposed to be a short show. Here's another problem. So I know you guys are wondering, where does Daima fit in within the timeline? Well, here's another issue, right? I thought that Daima was a true integral to Dragon Ball Z. I thought that it being introduced, I said I thought, would fix this issue. Would fix the Super issue, right? The Super has way too many inconsistencies to be canon, to be part of the story. I thought Daima was a solution until I saw this. What are we doing? What are we doing? Just that little scene of Bardock from Dragon Ball Minus doesn't give me no hope. Doesn't give me no hope. So we return to the original question of what is canon. Right? What is canon? We went through the explanations of what it is. Like somebody said in the comment section, it kind of was ahead of me in my conclusion. But that was our expert. Oops, I forgot to go ahead and do the other slide too. It's supposed to be a professional. See, I haven't cursed all stream. I've been doing good. I haven't talked a single bad word about Naruto fans, not once. Let me see here. Why is it not working? Let's go down. Oh man. Why is it not working? We're losing airtime. There we go. That's the expert list, right? Where does Daima fit into all of this? Well, Daima, as we just discussed, and as you guys have watched, it uses little itty bitty pieces of Super, right, in his story, but it still doesn't confirm it's part of Super stuff. The way that the Dragon Ball Daima was structured, like I said, I'll be going deeper into this. This is just the beginning of our deep dive into Dragon Ball Daima. But as I watched it from the end to the beginning, I have a whole new appreciation of the series. I really do. Because there are little small things. I forgot to put it up here, but I think I cut it for time. I'm going to just mention them off the head, right? So, before we go into that, I'm just going to briefly say what I appreciate about Daima. And before we get into where it stands here in the timeline. The whole Glorio plot of betrayal, they actually set it up. I completely dismissed that in earlier episodes a little bit, but it still didn't pay off the way I thought it would. But yeah, I saw it. I saw the little pay up. The whole conversation in the cave with the Minotaur. I saw they talked about how he looked like he was from the third world, but he's from the first world. That was like subtle hints and clues laced throughout the series. I promise you, if you watch Dragon Ball Daima again, knowing what you know that happens at the end of the series, everything starts to make sense. I was even paying close attention to see if I could see that drawer of the third eyes that they had at the end, which I thought was genius. I thought that was funny. I was like, yeah, that's Toriyama writing for you right there. I thought that was nice. But they never ever, not a single character that went to that side of the store in the earlier episodes, nobody went to that side to look for it until that end credit scene or the end of Daima. So there's like little details like that that nobody's really paying attention to. Little details like that. With that being said, where does Daima fit in the timeline? Just get it over with, right? What is the real canon, so to speak? I'm about to reveal it to you right now, and it may shock you. This is where I think the real, with Daima in consideration, this is where I think the real canon is. As soon as I figure out where I put it. Alright. Already longer than we have to be around here. There it is. You guys ready? Be surprised. That is the real canon right there. And like somebody in the chat earlier said that Japan doesn't care about canon in their anime that much. I agree with you. They all don't. So why do we keep talking about what the hell is canon? What should matter more than anything is the source material. Does it follow through what was in the manga to stay consistent? And that's the whole point of me building this up. That's the whole point of me building this up. This is the only thing that's canon to me. This right here. The beginning and end of Dragon Ball. That is it. And that's another mistake that nobody wanted to point out. People see things as Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. But the truth is, this is a usual mistake. It's actually, the whole thing is Dragon Ball. It's just Dragon Ball. There is no Z. There's no part 2. The whole thing is Dragon Ball. This is the true canon. But if I had to entertain the thought of where I think they're going with this, I will put down where Daima could fit. Just to entertain it. Alright. There you go. Daima could be a true integral, and it can be. But as far as I'm concerned, this is the only thing that's canon. Because even with the little implementations they got from Super within Daima, it still disqualifies it from being canon. Who cares about canon anymore? I tell you who, the fans do. My final point is that canon doesn't matter. It don't. It never did. Not to Toei, not to Shueisha. It's all about one thing. Franchises. And I had a point here. I think I kind of butchered a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. That they what was my point? Yeah, I can't believe I forgot about that. Oh, no, I'm in the right place. Yeah, it's all about franchises. That's the only thing that matters. This whole canon discussion, I don't know why we keep having this. Like, we're grown people talking about canon. This canon, Daima don't care about no canon. None of this matters. See, that's the trick bag. That's how they get people. Where's my notes? That's how they get them. I think the one thing that should matter is the source material. It's the standard. And remember the definition of what canon is. A standard. And the standards just keep changing and changing and changing. With small inconsistencies in between. And that's how they get the entire fan base. That's their marketing ploy. Which I don't agree with at all. Instead of wondering what's going to happen next in these interquels. See, that's how they get us. Right? Interquels are like, you know how it's going to end, right? At some point, there's no tension. That's what I wanted to bring up before. There's no tension of time. Right? Well, I was bringing up the plot device definition. There's no tension of time within Super. Even with the Dragon Ball Daima. Because you know that at some point, end of Z has to happen. But they get you another way. They get you with a new tension that nobody ever talks about. And that tension is how they're going to break the damn source material. So no, the canon does not matter in Daima. It doesn't. But it should. In source material, it should matter. And that's my piece for today's show. Essentially, it's supposed to be short. I'm going to read some comments here. Neo said, I do think Toya will bring back Daima into Super and have them visit the Demon Realm again. And that's another problem. What is he doing with the manga? Nothing. Nothing of importance. He's going to keep retreading stuff. They can't keep up with that. That's why they're having rights issues as it is. See, I think in a sense Daima did save the franchise. And I think that's what they were concerned about the most. They weren't concerned about canon. They were concerned about the franchise. You know, rest in peace to Akira Toriyama, and he worked on this, and you can tell he worked on it. And it's such a great example of something we'll be talking about in Manga Arcade, how the author needs to continually be involved in these projects, has this original story. You keep it in line. Daima is a perfect example, and Super is a perfect example of what not to do. Daima is a perfect example of what to do in some way. But to me, the original source material is the canon. Everything else is an extra side story until proven otherwise. But the fact is that even if Akira Toriyama worked on it, right? Like Dragon Ball Minus, for example. Like, it's crap. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? He already acknowledged the Bardock that was in the special in his own manga officially. That's the source material. That's what matters. That should be paramount above all else. All else. All else. That has been the show. I think I missed a few points that I wanted to make. Let me see if I could do some extra points that I missed. I think I missed a mark on. Alright. Let's see here. Yeah, I think I see it. So I wanted to make a point that I kind of missed about how they only care about the franchises. I wanted to use that Dragon Ball Z Kakarot as an example. Now, like I've already explained before. There we go. Like I've already explained before, Dragon Ball Z, the movies with the Z is a franchise. Super is a different franchise. That's why when you see them collaborate with Fortnite, it's Dragon Ball Super. But why is it not Dragon Ball Z? It's a different franchise. It's a different license. It's like Dragon Ball, different license, different little business thing. Doesn't hurt Dragon Ball Z. What hurts Dragon Ball Super doesn't hurt Dragon Ball Z. See, all these things matter to them. That's what matters. For example, you know that Super Saiyan Blue and Super Saiyan God is both Z and Dragon Ball Super. That's why people thought, well, since we have Super Saiyan Blue, Vegeta and Goku in here, and Super Saiyan God, Vegeta, and Goku in here, we should get more DLC for Kakarot from Super. Well, it's not going to work out that way. Now, did it? Because it's not Z. The main title of Kakarot is Z. It's not Dragon Ball. Like Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. See, Dragon Ball can encompass all the Dragon Balls, but Z can encompass Z. Battle of Gods, Resurrection F, or Picasso F. I like saying it that way too. It's part of Z, and people forget that. That's why that was allowed as DLC. And look what their second DLC is. The Bardock thing. It even goes as far back as the 23rd tournament. My bad. World tournament, and this is why I also can't stand. And they do this. I got ran on this a little bit. They do this in every Dragon Ball game. They keep leaving off the end of Z. That's the end of the story. And ever since they started doing this interquel mess, they've been leaving off. Dude, they leave the ending of the manga for DLC. What is wrong with these people? You can't leave me. Why are we letting them get away with this? Why? This is ridiculous, and it needs to stop. It seriously does. How can you justify 3 chapters and a few episodes as DLC in a game like Kakarot? But they did. That should have already been included in the game. That is crazy to me. And now, of course, they got the whole Daima thing, which is interesting, right? Because Daima's a franchise too, but it follows closely with Z. That was the point I was supposed to make. I'm not sure if it landed correctly. You guys gotta let me know in the comment section below or live right now. But that should probably be it for this little session. Manga Arcade. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. I think that Dragon Ball Daima is overall good on its own, but this whole canon business, I don't think it's canon. I'm not going to take it seriously as that until they get their eggs in the basket. Ducks in a row. That's the word I'm looking for. Phrase. And follow the source material. Stick to what the decision that was made in that. And that's a problem across the board. Now, I did have something here. A tease for the next show we'll be doing officially on we'll be reviewing the Shonen Jump lineup and talking about the other aspects of the manga world that no one else is going to be tapping into, and it's going to be difficult to get into it, but there's a conversation that needs to be had. Now if I find that conversation, you feel me, we can actually talk about this motherfucker thing. All right, there it is. The lack of masculine characters. When you look at this lineup, some of these are even canceled. What do you see? When was the last real strong shonen character? We're going to be diving into this as we go through every show. The lack of masculinity in its characters is one of the core issues of the modern manga. These characters are too effeminate, and we'll be diving deep into that every live going forward. Like, just trickle it in every topic and why it's a problem. I mean, look at this lineup right here. This is like, I would feel like slapping the crap out of all these characters. I'm trying not to curse so bad, trying not to talk crap, so hard. Some of these I think got canceled. I was supposed to do a show on one of these. That got canceled before I got to it. God damn. And damn's not a curse word on here. But I think there's still some that we have to cover. That'll be the next show, which will be short too. We went a little too long with this show. I'll be honest with you. It's supposed to be only 40 minutes. That's kind of crazy. But we'll be going deeper into that on the next one. It's supposed to be short. It's supposed to be like 30 to 40 minutes. But whatever. Alright, thank you guys for coming, commentating live, watching the video, give it a like. Of course, I gotta say all this subscribe and bullshit. Remember, I just cursed. I owe somebody $500. I can cut that out though. I can cut that out. Anyway, to the next confirmation, my name is SHINTONE. This is Manga Arcade Live. I do hope you enjoy these shows as we go forward. This is only the second episode. So we got a long ways to go, a lot of controversial topics to discuss, and hope you enjoy. I really do. I hope it's going to be informative like I want it to be. Hope that this will be what I planned it to be. It's different to have an idea on your head, write it on paper, you make the assets for it like I do, and then just performing it live, which is a different ball game. All of these require a different amount of effort. So I hope that this will be worth it. I expected to pick up around episode 50, but I also will consider if it even continues around episode 50 as well, if it's worth investing more time into. But I promise I will be making this a lot better over time, very quickly. Next topic we'll talk about whenever that is, supposed to be tomorrow, but I can never know. With this whole schedule situation, I can never know. Then the next confirmation. This is Manga Arcade Live. My name is SHINTONE. Peace. Let's end off with tracking Dragon Ball.